Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the agenda review meeting for Pittsburgh Public Schools and the Mount Oliver Intermediate Unit. Today is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. We will begin our meeting with the Mount Oliver Intermediate Unit and Ms. Jennifer Solak.
Thank you and good evening. Under Business Consultants and Contracted Services, I have one board tab. 24.01 is to authorize entering into a contract with the City Charter High School for us to provide speech and language services for qualifying students for the 24-25 school year. Under Business and Payments Authorized, 25.01 are our daily payments for the month of August. 25.02 is to authorize payment to the Social Institute for virtual training, support, and materials for the staff of Winchester Thurston for the 24-25 school year. Under Business and General Authorization, I have 8 board tabs. 26.01 is to authorize entering into an agreement with Woodland Hills School District to provide Title I reading and math services to students at non-public schools in Pittsburgh for the 24-25 school year. 26.02 is to authorize entering into an agreement with Stowe Rock School District for Title I reading and math services for students at non-public schools to utilize 23-24 carryover funds. 26.03 is to authorize entering into an agreement with Stowe Rock School District for Title I reading and math services for the 24-25 school year. 26.04 is to authorize entering into an agreement with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit to provide Title I reading and math services to McKeesport, East Allegheny, and Keystone Oaks school districts for students attending non-public schools in Pittsburgh for the 24-25 school year. 26.05 is to authorize entering into an agreement with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit to provide Title I reading and math services to Northgate School District students who attend Northside Catholic Assumption Academy for the 24-25 school year. 26.06 is to authorize entering into an agreement with Penn Hills School District to provide Title I reading and math services at non-public schools in Pittsburgh. 26.07 is to authorize entering into an agreement with Penn Hills to provide Title I reading and math services at non-public schools to utilize 23-24 carryover funds. And 26.08 is to authorize entering into an agreement with Pittsburgh Public Schools to provide Title I administrative, instructional, and other program services to eligible students in non-public schools within the city of Pittsburgh for the 24-25 school year. That is all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Solak. I will open up time for questions from board members. Mr. Barker.
Just really quick on the, is it Sacred Heart or is it our Sacred Heart? Or is this still OSH or this is another?
This is Sacred Heart Elementary School in Shadyside.
Thank you.
Any further questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Solak. We'll see you next week. All right, we'll move on to the agenda for the Pittsburgh Public Schools, and we'll start with the education portion, and I will turn it over to Dr. Jayla Olds-Pearson.
Thank you and good evening. Under Education Proposal and other grant awards, we have 3 board tabs. 5.01 is a request to accept a Developing Future Special Education Award in the amount of $20,000 from Patan. 5.02 is a request to accept a Title I Part A, improving the academic achievement of the disadvantaged, the grant award from the Pennsylvania Department of Education. 5.03 is a request to accept a grant, Title I, from the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Under Education Consultants and Contracted Services, we have 16 board tabs. 6.01 is a request to renew a contract. 6.02 is a request to approve payment to CCAC. 6.03 is a request to approve payment for RRR Educational Systems. 6.04 is a request to approve payment to the Woodlands for a summer camp week and also a retreat weekend. 6.05 is a request to approve payment to Achieving True Self. 6.06 is a request to approve payment to the Creative Citizen
Joe,
Studios.
hold the line for a minute.
Okay, take your time.
6.07 is a request to approve payment to CCAC to provide online programming for students. 6.08 is a request to approve payment to Cloud Collective Media Productions. 6.09 is a request to enter into a contract with the Stepping Stones of the Group LLC. 6.10 is a request to enter into a contract with Sound Foundation of the Reading Instruction LLC. 6.11 is a request to enter into a 3-year contract with the AIU to provide Title I services. 6.12 is a placeholder, and it is a request to enter into an agreement with the IU2. 6.13 is a request to make payment to Conduction Incorporated. 6.14 is a request to enter into an agreement with Catapult so they may provide ATSI and CSI services. 6.15 is a request to renew the agreement with Dr. Hiba Alani. 6.16 is a request to approve payment to the Jasmine Nairi campus. Under Education Payments Authorized, we have 2 board tabs. 7.01 is a request to make payment to the Grow Pittsburgh to provide opportunities for students at Pittsburgh Montessori, pre-K through 5. 7.02 is a request to approve payment to Kona Ice. Under Education General Authorization, we have 18 board tabs. 8.01 is a request to accept a donation from Other Brothers and Brother Foundation. 8.02 is a request to accept a donation from the Donors Choose organization. 8.03 is a request to have a vote on the renewal of the charter for Passport Academy Charter School for a term of 5 years. 8.04 is a request to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Adagio Health Incorporated. 8.05 is a request to make payments to various vendors for the early college and high school Eastern PA college tour. 8.06 is a request to enter into a memorandum of understanding with UPMC, the Western Psychiatric Hospital. 8.07 is a request to approve the proposed policy of revisions to Policy 211. 8.08 is a request to approve a proposed new policy entitled Non-Discrimination, Policy 102.6, Transgender and Gender Diverse Employees. 8.09 is a request to approve a proposed new policy entitled Telepresence. 8.10 is a request to amend item 7.15 from the June 26, 2024 board meeting. 8.11 is a request to amend item 8.14 K through 2 SEL curriculum, which was approved on June 28, 2023. 8.12 is a request to submit a budget of revision application to the Office of Head Start. 8.13 is a request to submit a budget carryover application to the Office of Head Start. 8.14 is a request to approve the implementation of a district-wide of the credit recovery program for period 10. 8.15 is a request to amend item 7.16 from the June 26, 2024 the legislative meeting. 8.16 is a request to amend item 6.04 approved by the board at the April 24, 2024 other legislative meeting. 8.17 is a request to permit the district level reading specialists, we have 8, to utilize the newest version of Reading Horizons Discovery Live. 8.18 is a request to approve the student suspension, transfer, and expulsion report. And that ends the education section. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Olds-Pearson. I will now open this up to questions from the board. Ms. Wilson.
Hi, just would like to know if someone could give us the update on the charter renewal for Passport Academy, what has made it acceptable now?
Dr. Walters here. Mr. Weiss, can you please give them an update?
Thank you. We have established clear definitions on the term dropout, which was somewhat vague in the last agreement. We have also made very specific the enrollment procedures to eliminate the difficulties we had before with lack of verification. We have also, in the agreement, agreed to a mediation process to resolve disputes over proper payments. All of those used to end up at the Department of Education, sometimes in court. And the agreements have provided, the agreement will provide the Charter Oversight Office, Lisa Augustin, enhanced oversight processes with regard to curriculum and student performance. It's a much better agreement, and it addressed many of the concerns that the administration had with this school. And most of those were shared with the board back in June when there was a motion to establish the hearing. So both Ms. Augustin and I believe this agreement addresses the problems that existed in the last 5 years.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Well, I'll just comment on the same board tab. When we made the vote in June, I think I expressed my disappointment with the adults that created the issue that would harm students who were looking for a way to get back into their education. So I'm pleased that we've come to a place where the adults are adulting and that kids will hopefully be the beneficiaries of this work. So thank you all, everyone who worked on that. All right, if there are no other questions, then we will go on to the business section, and I will turn it over to Mr. Ron Joseph.
Under proposals grant awards, there are 3 items. Item 9.01 is for the acceptance of a grant from the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program. Item 9.02 is for the acceptance of an impact grant from the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. And item 9.03 is for the acceptance of a Fuel Up to Play 60 school nutrition equipment grant. Under consultants and contracted services, there are 13 items. Item 11.01 is for the purchase of backpack vacuums with filters. Item 10.02 is for window cleaning services. Item 10.03 is for the purchase of ice melt. Item 10.04 is for the purchase of MERV 9 filters. Item 10.05 is for swimming pool water analysis. Item 10.06 is a placeholder for the purchase of professional learning resource library books. Item 10.07 is a license renewal for Qualtrics. Item 10.08 is for the purchase and installation of network attached storage. Item 10.09 is a contract for architectural services for the replacement of flooring at Obama. Item 10.10 is a contract renewal with Journey Meditation, Inc. Item 10.11 is a contract renewal with CitySpan Technologies. Item 10.12 is a payment for assessment training and licenses. And item 10.13 is a payment for digital licenses for AP World History. Under payments authorized, 11.01 is for the approval of the daily payments for the month of August, and 11.02 contains the change orders for this month. Under general authorization, item 12.01 is for the approval of the 2024-25 yellow bus driver list and transportation routes listing. Item 12.02 is a donation from Tree Pittsburgh. Item 12.03 is for the renewal of the pupil transportation reimbursement agreement with DHS and CYF. Item 12.04 is amendment with to our contract with Wayne Kraus. Item 12.05 is an amendment to our contract with First Student. Item 12.06 is an amendment to our contract with the Center That Cares. And items 12.07 through 12.12 are amendments to the technology purchases that were approved by the board at the June 26th legislative meeting. Item 12.13 is a placeholder for the issuance of General Obligation Bond Series of 2024. Item 12.14 is a placeholder for the issuance of a refunding bond Series A of 2024. Item 12.15 is an amendment to our payment to the Marriott City Center. Item 12.16 is a placeholder for the annual health, dental, and vision rate renewals for 2025. And item 12.17 is an amendment to our contract with Malika Fields Esquire. Under budget matters, there's a general fund budget transfer this month. Under section 16, you will find the travel reimbursement applications, the travel report, and the EBE commitment report. And under new business, there's one item tonight. Item 17.01 is a resolution to authorize an attorney-client agreement for litigation against Eli Lilly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. I will move on to questions from the board, and I see Mr. Udine.
Thank you. With your permission, I'd like to go back to the item on Passport Academy.
Go for it.
I understand that the administration is confident that the problems of Passport have been addressed. I'd just like to ask if you could give us a little more detail about what you found as the major problems, especially the problems that we call adult problems, and help us understand a little better what the resolution has been.
Dr. Walters, Superintendent, Mr. Weiss, can you review that information again, please?
The major area of dispute with charter school was the inadequate verification of eligibility and authority from the parent or guardian or students to attend the school. There is an affidavit procedure that was called for. There were constant disagreements over the adequacy of the affidavits that were provided, and it wasn't clear exactly circumstances under which they were signed. That led to the district withholding payment for several students that lacked appropriate verification, which led to Passport's exercising its right to have what we call subsidy redirection, where the money that was claimed by Passport was paid directly by the department out of the district subsidy. They also were attempting to enroll students as dropouts who were not in fact dropouts, but who may have been disciplined by the district and were supposed to be going back to school. Under this agreement, there is a specific procedure for these affidavits and a protocol for getting them filed and a time limit for the district time limit for them to give them to us and a time limit for the district to register objections. There is a specific definition of dropout, which essentially is someone school age who is not enrolled in any LEA, that is any school district. And there is this mediation process which will eliminate the reflexive use of subsidy redirection, but rather will engage in a mediation process to achieve an agreement as to whether there is a claim warranted or not. Those were the major adult problems. Ms. Augustin has also included in the agreement some additional oversight of curriculum and some internal things with the school. There have also been some amendments to the charter school law, which were incorporated into this agreement regarding public meetings and so forth by the charter school. But well, we believe this is a good agreement. It addresses the major issues that the district has had with this school while preserving the ability of the students who attend this school to go there. Because as was pointed out by several board members, students that go to Passport don't have a lot of good options if Passport was not available.
The problems that, what bothers me is that we are approving a 5-year renewal. And it's not clear to me that there are interim reviews of their of the school's adherence to the plan and to the rules and guidelines. Is there a way that we can more closely monitor the school's compliance with all these agreement measures? And if they are not adhering to the agreement, what interim steps or measures can be taken to make sure that they are in compliance?
First of all, the 5-year period is the term that is spelled out in the charter school law. The only district in Pennsylvania that can approve a charter for less than 5 years is School District of Philadelphia. Secondly, there are annual reviews and oversight within a year by the charter school office. And if there are deficiencies noted, they are provided to the school. And then there are follow-ups to see if those deficiencies have been addressed. And with the language that has been put in this agreement, it will enable some of the areas that were problematic over the past 5 years to be addressed more quickly. But Lisa Augustin in the charter department conducts periodic reviews during the year, an end of year review. And if the problems are great enough, we would come to the board with a recommendation to consider terminating a charter, which is an extreme step. Or we do have this mediation process now in the agreement, which will provide a forum to resolve these issues. So we think, while no agreement is perfect, this is light years better than what we had the last time.
If we proceed with this renewal and the annual reports that we get from Ms. Augustine, is there a way that the board, that you could bring it to our attention, that they are or are not in compliance, and what measures can be taken to bring them into compliance within that 5-year period?
Yes. we would bring it to the board and for your review, and we would discuss that and provide the board with the options it has at that time.
Very well, thank you.
Does that conclude your questions, Mr. Udine?
That concludes my questions. Thank you.
All right. I will turn it back to the business section for questions, comments from the board. All right. Seeing no questions, are there any items that the board would wish to note for further discussion next week? All right. Seeing none, that will conclude our meeting tonight. Everyone have a great night and be safe, and we will see you on Monday.